Solving by elimination is similar to solving by substitution in that we are solving two equations or a system of equations with algebra rather than graphing. So a couple of prerequisite skills are just being able to solve for a variable. So if we get something like this, there's a few different ways to go about it. You could make everything have a common denominator. In this case, it would be 6. You could combine the two fractions on the left and then cross multiply. What I'm going to work with is just a common denominator here. So we're going to make everything have a denominator of 6. So this would be 2x over 6 plus 2 over 6 equals negative 3 over 6. Now I'm going to move all the numbers to one side, all the letters to the other. We're going to get 2x over 6 equals, it's going to be negative 5 over 6. Now at this point, a lot of people get confused as to what you do with the 6. Well, the 6's actually just cancel out. We're going to multiply both sides by 6, and those two things cancel out. So we're left with 2x equals negative 5, and therefore x equals negative 5 over 2. Now, moving on to the next part, we need to understand how to subtract equations. And for this part, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to subtract the equations exactly how they're written. We've lined up our x's, our y's, and our constants. And if there was an equal sign, we would line that up as well. So in this case, if we had like equals 0, then that would be lined up as well. We want to make sure everything is lined up. All of our values are lined up. So here we're subtracting this. So I would have 3 minus 2 would give me x. Negative 5 minus 3 more is going to give me negative 8. And then 3 minus negative 7, that's a double negative, is going to be 3 plus 7. We're going to get 10. Okay, and that's actually the very basics of elimination. That's exactly what we're going to do. So when we're working through elimination, we're either going to add or subtract the equations to eliminate one of our variables. So we're looking for the same number either in front of the x or the y, and then depending if it's the same sign, we're going to subtract it, or if it's opposite signs, we're going to add them. That's how we're going to eliminate our values. So if we look at this first one, we've got 5x and negative 5x. So in this case, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking equation 1 and I'm going to be adding equation 2 to it. So we're going to have 1 plus 2. So negative 5 plus 5 is going to be 0x. So that gets rid of all of our x's. 2 plus negative 4 is going to be negative 2y. And then negative 1 plus negative 13 is going to be negative 14. And then we're going to get y equals 7. After that, we're just going to substitute into one of our formulas. So I'm going to substitute into 1. So we're going to get negative 5x plus 2 times 7 equals negative 1. We get negative 5x equals negative 15. 2 times 7 is 14. We subtract it to the other side. We get x is equal to 3. And therefore, our point of intersection, or what we've solved, is 3, 7. It's always x then y. Okay, when it says solve by elimination, you're solving the point of intersection of those two equations. Now, if we look at this one, this one's a little bit harder. We've got 3x plus 2y equals 8. And we've got 2x plus y equals 5. So what we have to realize is that neither of these equations have a common number in front of one of my variables. But if I took equation 2 and I multiplied it by 2. So if I multiplied the whole equation by 2, so I'd get 4x plus 2y equals 10. Well, now equation 3, essentially, the new equation here that we've created, it can be subtracted with equation 1. If I took equation 1 and I wrote it down here, that's equation 1. Well, I've got 2y and 2y. So what I've done is I've looked at the original equations. I've taken the variables that I'm looking for, and I've said, if I just multiply this by 2, that would match up with this. Well, I can't just multiply one variable. I need to do everything. So I multiplied the whole equation by 2. I created equation 3, which is just a different way of writing that first one. And then I'm now able to eliminate. So I'm going to do 3 minus 1. 4x minus 3x is just x. 2 minus 2 is 0. And this is x equals 2. Now I'm not going to sub into 3 because technically I solved for 3 and I created it. And I don't know if it's 100% correct. I can solve or sub into either 1 or 2. Now I've put a line through 2. So I'll sub into 1. Just because I've crossed 2 out. So we'd get 3 times 2 plus 2y equals 8. We're going to get 2y equals 2 and y equals 1. So therefore, our point of intersection is going to be 2 and 1.